what to do as one of these wing cutters in the horizontal stack. First of all, we need to understand what the game plan is, right? Sounds to me, based on Ellis's question, and based on your question, Ellis, that we're playing through the primary cutters in the middle. Okay. So in this scenario, if we're one of the wings, we want to let our primary cutters, we want to let our active cutters move. Okay. So let them do whatever cutting patterns they want to do. Let them try to get the disc, right? If they do get the disc, then we can think about how we can start getting engaged, right? If we're in this scenario and let's say they get this big gainer, right? Let this player continue, and then we can also think about clearing this option wide, similar to the option that we talked about earlier in the video, where we're going wide. Maybe they're able to get this gainer, and then we can come back for this, right? So that's the first thing is if they're able to get it through the middle and we're one of the wings, we want to see how we can set up to be active in the next pass or in the next two passes. Now, if we're simply in this wing position, as a default, what should we be doing? Obviously, we should be holding space because we're not one of the active cutters. But when should we actually get involved? Well, if our player is aggressively poaching, we want to communicate that we're poached. We want to see how we can get active. Okay. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean we need to slash all the way. That's one option, especially if both of our mid cutters or active cutters clear. That's when we could think about something like this. But if these people are still making active cuts in that space, we don't necessarily need to get active in this space. We can wait. We can call for the disc here, see if we can get this. Or what I like to do is wait for the disc to swing and then attack that space. Okay. So really where our wings get involved is when the disc swings towards a sideline. Okay, when the disc swings, when we don't see anything that we like in the active cutting space, when the disc swings, right, maybe someone's cutting like this, that's when we can start getting involved in here, getting this big under and then connecting, right? So really as a wing, we're trying to play off of the swings that are happening on the field. And we're also trying to play off when the active cutters are able to get the disc in the field as well. So yeah, describing it, you would say that our wings, another way that we can describe our wings are, they're secondary cutters. So by definition, we want to be providing that secondary option. When that first primary option gets hit, how can we get ready to get the disc in a pass or two, right? When the disc swings, how can we get ready to get the disc in a pass or two, right? If the disc swings here, right, and we see that someone's ready to cut into this space, maybe that's when we might present deep, right? Provide this option on the flick on this corner, or maybe if that's not on, this person will come in, they'll get this and they'll be able to throw it, or they'll get this and you'll be able to come under and get that next option, right? So as a wing, it's always thinking about how you can provide that secondary cut or provide that option when the disc has already moved to another teammate. Hopefully that helps, Ellis. And Cameron, do you have any kind of questions based on that as well? Or any insights?
Yeah, I spent some time trying to figure this out too because it was an issue for me. Like
Mm.
it's still could be, but I watched a bunch of clips and I just saw there's dozens of different things that could happen, and as long as you're familiar with what your continuation is, like you're saying, I think that clarifies things. But I
Yeah.
think it helps to figure out like if this happens, then that there aren't that many scenarios. They're quite repeatable.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you watch more or yeah, I think watching has helped me. I've watched a ton of horizontal and just clipped a
Yeah.
bunch of things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And if you have any of these useful clips, Cameron, send them through. But an easy way to think about it is like there's only three initial spaces that you can cut to, right? You can go directly in, you can go across the field, or you can go deep, right? And cut there if there's no one else there, right? Because what happens is if there's no one deep and you cut deep and someone else gets the disc in another space, you can always turn that cut into something else, right? If no one's here and someone is deep, right? If you cut here and then you get it, then you have another option, right? Or if you don't get it, right? Let's say you get here, you don't get it, it opens up space for someone else as well, right, on the other side. So really, there's three options, right? You go all the way deep, you go all the way in, you go across, right? Whatever option you take, either you will get the disc, or your teammate will get the disc and throw to you, or you can change direction from that position as well. So think about one of those three options: 1, 2, 3, Ellis, and happens same thing on this side. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, if you want, you can cut across the field as well. 4. All right, but think about which spaces are spaces where you have no teammates, so you can actually attack that space, because it might be that secondary space that you're looking to attack or that your team's looking to hit after they get that initial pass. Cool?
Cool.
Sweet. And that's typically, like, Cameron, probably the clips that you've seen. It's probably usually one of these, right? We're either going across, either coming straight down, or coming deep. And we can think of like setting up these cuts as well. Like if you're wanting to create that separation as the disc is going to swing, you can read that the disc is going to swing. It's worth then making a few steps deep, setting that deep cut, and then coming in on this timing so that you're getting that separation and getting that yardage. I think if you can understand that, Ellis, it's really going to help when it comes to cutting out of the wing position in the horizontal stack.